Hi everybody, I'm Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and I have a very exciting and fun floral painting to show you today. I'm going to show you step by step how you, even as a total beginner, can paint this really fun, loose floral abstract. And what I mean by abstract is we're kind of like being a little expressive and loose with it. It's still recognizable as a floral, so I'd say it's more abstracted, but it's very beginner friendly, and it's going to teach you a lot of techniques like wet into wet, dry brushing, your brush work, all of that. And at the end, you're going to get a cute little painting that you like that you might want to put in a frame. To help me do this is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's going to make sure that you guys can see the techniques that I'm talking about, the color mixes that I'm doing, and that way you can create this for yourself at home. If you check the description, the materials are listed below, and there's a link to the website. On the website is a free traceable that you can download if you are not even ready to draw the jar yet. And by the way, tracing is not cheating. And everybody has a beginning, and your beginning is as valid as anybody else's. So never feel bad about using a traceable. That's why I provide them. Get your paint, get your brush, because we're only going to use one. Come back and meet me at my watercolor pad right now. We're going to paint this. So in today's lesson, I'm going to be using 140-pound watercolor paper, cold press, in a block. Block just means all the pages are glued together. I really like that. The brand I'm using is this one, Fabriano. If you are elsewhere, your paper might say 300 GM. That's the same thing. That's what you're looking for. Cold press is what I'm using. Hot press is like this, but not bumpy. It's just smooth. One is not better than the other. They're just different. I have sort of sketched in loosely the jar here, and you can get a traceable for that off my website, free for download to transfer onto your paper if you don't feel comfortable drawing a jar. I think you'll find that they're pretty chill to draw. And this is really more about just painting a loose and free kind of abstracted little floral that you can put up in the wall in one sitting, even if you're a beginning painter. Mm-hmm. John agrees.
I agree.
He agrees that you can do this. The thing that I'll say to you to keep in mind on your jar is to make sure that if you've got a curve on the lip, that it matches the curve on the bottom. You just do an opposing curve to create that oval, and two little shoulders straight down for the sides. And I'm going to put a little fancy extra little kind of old-timey bump out on the glass, but you can do just a very simplified base. This is watercolor. This is a Cretacolor graphite Aqua pencil, but you could use a regular HB pencil. I'm going to use a round number 14 Raphael Soft Aqua. It's a good brush for watercolor, just any round brush that comes to a good point, because we're going to do this all with one brush. I use the same colors every week on this class. So if you like this, be sure and hit the subscribe button. And then once you know the supply list, it's a one and done. So once you're in, then you can just paint along with everything. I have Payne's Gray, Nickel Azo Yellow, Hansa Yellow Medium, Pyrrole Red, Quinacridone Magenta, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo Blue, Opera Pink, Transparent Pyrrole Orange, Burnt Umber, Quinacridone Gold, and Phthalo Green. The Phthalo Green's right here. I put a couple little colors out. That's really all there is into that. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some wet into wet.
Ooh.
Wet into wet is a nice way of saying that the paper is wet. And we're going to put color into it as it's wet. And we're going to kind of come around the jar and create a little bit of abstracted space, perhaps, maybe, out here before we even kind of get any flowers going in there. Kind of want just to see some of this happening. You can see I've wet out the paper. It's not soaked. Not soaked. And I'm going to grab some of my Quinacridone Gold. And you can see as I add this color loosely to my paper, and loosely means I'm not trying to be real precious or careful, it kind of flows out into the water that I've laid out. And that is a nice way to create a very soft and out of focus background. And you can see here, where I don't have any water over there, it's much more. I'm going to go here and I'm going to dry brush down. There isn't a lot of water here. This is much more architectural. You can see that. The difference between those two, the very soft hard edges where the paper is dry versus the flowing edges where the paper is wet. Now, if I paint anything right here, right now, or right here, right now, it's going to blend into those two damp areas because the paint goes where the water is. So something that I can do while I'm waiting for that to be what it's to be is I'm going to get back into my Quinacridone Gold and maybe over to a little of my nickel Azo Yellow. You could use any yellow you have on your palette. And I'm going to make some loose lines up here. These are just little marks to talk about maybe grasses, little summer grasses perhaps. You can see where I pull the little summer grasses in through what's wet. They soften. Sometimes you want that though. Now, while I've got that in here, I can bring some of these down loosely into the jar. Just loosely pressed into the jar. A little bit of the yellow and the Quinacridone Gold. And I'm going to touch my brush. And if you paint acrylic with me, you're familiar with this. This is my little zipper stroke. It's a nice way to make little wheats or more structural.
Mm-hmm. It's very cool.
Yeah, little grasses gives you that little sense of, oh, this could be the end of a tall dry grass. Sort of nice and very abstracted and very loose. I'm going to pull this way. I'm going to get some of my Phthalo Blue and a little of my Quinacridone Gold, and they make a very interesting kind of old-timey green. And I'm going to paint some of the glass, but not all the glass. You can see what I'm doing here. A little stronger along the bottom. And I can bring this forward. This gives us some sense of the glass. I'll come around here. A little of the gold, a little of the blue. Sometimes these jar lids are metal or something not transparent. Again, I'm just dry brushing this around. And that kind of helps it look like glass, if you can see that. Now here I will be a little bit precious. I want to leave some white. It's the white that will help the glass feeling stay. And I'm going to grab some of my gold pretty heavily. Come here at the top of the jar. And I'll let the blue and the aqua blend in. I may even put some here while it's wet. And you can see that's blending in. A loose little flower. Look at where little strokes down. It's very sketchy. Sketchy. Be sketchy. Sometimes it's good to be sketchy. You don't think it is normally in life, but sometimes it is good to be sketchy.
I think it's really pretty.
I'm going to take a little of my quinacridone and my ultramarine blue, and they make quite a lovely little purple together. And I'm going to loosely paint some flowers. Kind of represents something that's purple. I don't paint all the paper. Right? It's just the feeling of a bouquet. It's that feeling that sometimes nice loose flower arrangements give us.
I love that purple.
Isn't it lovely?
So nice against that orange.
This is a very nice color palette. It's a fun one to play with. And we can bring some of it here.
It's striking.
It is striking. Good to put it around. Be a florist. A florist will tell you to pop color around an arrangement. If you have a color you really, really like, then you want to pop it around an arrangement. I can get it into this here and kind of sometimes add bits of what's up top. To what's below, and it layers up. It builds up. Now I really like this purple. I'm going to grab some of my opera pink, which is always sort of fun to play with. I'll put it a few places. This is just a bright pink. You can see I'm working at where things are wet. I don't want it everywhere. It's just a little pop that I can enjoy. If you get your red involved, and into your quin and your red,
Mm-hmm.
you might even come in, make it a little more burgundy. See that? Deeper.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to make some little hashing marks. These are short little marks on the toe of the brush. Just the toe of the brush.
Hmm. That's just the tip of it there.
Yeah. A little, like a little, something dry and scratchy. You can see how the energy and angles of marks give this sense or feeling of what something is.
Mm.
Right? And I haven't changed brushes. What happens when you're very new at painting, what kind of undermines you, I think, sometimes, is that you question every mark you make.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very hard to find confidence and trust in your own mark.
It's funny because you see somebody else's and you're like, oh, that looks so intentional. And they're like, just kind of came out that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And then there are other people who like spend their entire life mastering like that one stroke. And they're like, I made a horse on a mountain coming down waving to you, but I did it one stroke.
There's room for everybody.
There is. But, just do your thing.
I'm going to glaze a bit over what I have. I don't want to take out all my white because white is important in glass. I do want to kind of make the seam more complete. Now, in something like this, I think it's fun to get into a very dark color. I'm going to come under here with my Payne's gray. You can see that's a very noticeable value, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You paint lightest to darkest in watercolor. Just my Payne's gray. It's not black. You could use black. Get a little of our brown into this. This is burnt umber. And I'm going to get it in with my Quin Magenta. And sometimes more brown.
Ooh.
Kind of antiquing this up. And a little of that blue there. I don't want to take out the great bits of white that I have going on in that. The white is lovely. Sometimes I can come in with a little bit of my Quin Gold and kind of drop it in a few places in a pop. And it's still just a little bouquet of flowers, right? That's still just a fun little dance of them.
It really is.
Rinse out. Now you can always check. I like to check my rinse out on my paper towel. I have not changed brushes, guys. And this is just a very loose. You can change these colors up to what you like. It can be what you like. When you pull any dark color out like this, be aware that you've got to think about the weight that it might have in the piece. Dark lines are the heaviest of lines, but sometimes that's what gives a piece the drama it needs to really sing. Just pulling some dark composition into it. Just tapping the brush up and down, kind of implying some little bit of plant matter. Not too much, though. Interesting how in glass, it's not the see-through parts that you end up painting by any means. It is definitely the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Now this last part, this is a preference that I have. You may or may not enjoy this, but I like to take some of the colors that I've worked, and especially in something a little abstracted like this, I like to do a little splatter. That's a blue there.
Oh, yeah.
And that might, that can be more than you're ready for, and I get that. But as that dries, right, that little passage, that might end up becoming your very favorite passage of the whole piece. I'm going to grab some yellow and kind of splatter tap over here so that there's sort of two sides. I'm left-handed splattering. Not my strong splatter hand. And it can go everywhere. If you have areas of the paper that you don't want it to get on, you would just put down a little paper towel or a little bit of a mask. Comes off pretty well. And again, this one is just going to get prettier and prettier and become more and more of a thing. I'm going to take a small detail brush. This is a number 1 monogram liner. I'm going to get a color I use in the painting. Doesn't really matter what color it is. I just want to have it be present in the painting and sign the piece. And that's all it is. To paint that loose little fast, happy floral. Like, do them in all the colors. Do 10 of them. You'll have a whole arrangement. They have notebooks full of them. You can just do the same jar again and again. So you're going to get better and stronger at the jar. You're going to get better and stronger at these sort of abstracted plant marks. And at the end, you're going to start to realize that you personally have preferences for color palettes and different things. So hopefully you found something in this you didn't know before, and it was a lot of fun for you. I'm so glad we're putting more videos up on the Watercolor channel. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, because if you enjoy these types of art lessons, we are doing them several times a week now, so you can really start to get your watercolor skills together. If you'd like to learn acrylic, check out my acrylic painting channel. We've got about 1,000 videos over there. Be good to yourself, be good to each other, and I want to see you around a watercolor palette really soon. Bye-bye.